Saint Agatha of Sicily. Beauty as pleasant as the summer breeze, purity as white as the gentle first snowfall, martyrdom as sturdy as the rocks shaping the world. Let me tell you the story of a young, brave, and beautiful woman that has become the patron saint of rape victims, breast cancer patients, and martyrs. It is I, Saint Agatha, the patron saint of Sicily. I was born in the land of Catania, Sicily, near the embrace of the vast blue sea and the warm, salty air. I was blessed with a name that meant good and honorable by my loving parents. I was blessed to be born in a noble and wealthy Christian family. It was a humble and peaceful living. However, during the 353 AD, along with the execution of Pope Fabian, freedom was denied from our hands and faith was outlawed in the Roman Empire by Trajan Decius. Born from a Christian family and exposed to its teaching at a very young age of 15, I was able to determine my purpose not only in my community, but also in my life. I wanted to live a life devoted to serve God, and so I did. By the age of 21, I became the deaconess in our church, clothed by a white tunic like the clouds covering the sky, and a vibrant red veil like the warm fire in the flowing pond. I have shredded teachings of Christian faith and young followers of my community, and helped in preparing them for baptism in the Holy Communism. Despite my strong and radiating devotion to God, some men would still try to court me. But as always, I would always kindly reject their admiration from me. And so comes Quitanius, perfect of Catania. He has made a lot of attempts on trying to court me, but I, being devoted follower of the Lord, has rejected all of them, for it is not my desired living. Filled with anguish, Quitanius has decided to use Emperor Titius' edict and my devotion to Christian faith to compel me as his wife. I was arrested and imprisoned by being a follower of God. I was threatened with torture and death for not submitting to Quitanius. For a young woman to hear those words, I was scared and lost. You may think that those words would break my courage, but I have talked to God and said, Jesus Christ, Lord of all things, you see my heart, you know my desires. Possess all that I am, you alone. I am your sheep, make me worthy to overcome the devil. He was mad, and he was hating the fact that I was not breaking. And so he sent me to Aphrodisia, a woman with a reputation, a bad one. In her place, I was tortured and assaulted for a month, with the hopes that each bruise and injury will make me abandon my faith and turn back on the virtue that I have for God. But they were wrong. Knowing about the situation, I was sent back to Catanius, and there I received more torture. Dark and empty dungeon, they made me stretch on a wooden rack, filled with iron hooks, had the flaming end of the torch engulf my skin, and enveloped the room with cracking sound of whip cut through my body in every kiss. For some unknown reason, the pain I was expecting was absent, and so I smiled. Seeing how I was enduring the pain, Quitanius got even more angrier. To his extreme dismay, I was forced into an inconceivable punishment that no human could ever imagine. He ordered to cut my breasts off. With a swift and swing and horrible pain, I responded, Cruel man, have you forgotten about your mother and the breast that nourished you, that you dare to mutilate me this way? With a shock on his face, he ordered to return me to one of the darkest dungeons. Covered in blood flowing out of the open and undressed wound, I let a small gasp of air as I feel the cold as time goes by. As my vision becomes blurred, light filled with the room, a man appeared out of nowhere. With medicine in his warm hands, he was Saint Peter. He invoked a prayer for solace and uplifting words as he took all the pain away in my body. As he slowly disappeared, the light grew even stronger, engulfing the dark hallway, seeking every nook and cranny until it had no choice but to flow out of the dungeon. To their surprise, the guards fled and left the doors open. 4 days after the incident, stories about miracle-rich Cotanius, clouded and swallowed by the horrible hatred for me, he commanded his man to make me roll over broke tiles mixed with burning coals. As I was laying on it, the ground crowed and shook. A violent earthquake hit the city of Catania. Walls were collapsing, following Quatenius's men. All of these were happening as my veil remained vibrant and unscathed, with the unharmed witnesses seeing miracle right before their eyes, believed that the earthquake was caused by my immovable faith in God, my martyrdom, and they asked for my release. With their sounding sign of agreement, Quatenius was alarmed and asked for me to return to my prison. In the cell filled with solitude, I prayed, Lord, my Creator, Thou hast always protected me from the cradle. Thou hast taken me from the love of the world and given me the patience to suffer. Receive now my soul. And with that, at the age of 20, in the year 251, I felt the warm embrace of the Lord. I suffered indignity and multiple forms of cruel assault for my faith to gospel and my purity. They tried to taint the teachings of the church and make me stray from the flowery path of Christian virtue. But despite all this, I remain in proclaiming his praises. I, Saint Agatha, patron saint of rape victims, breast cancer patients, nurses, fire, bell founders, and natural disasters. Again, with all holiness, I am Saint Agatha of Sicily, a virgin and a martyr.